Hey guys, Kitchen Table Magician here. Welcome to another episode of 6-Pack of MTG, where we crack 6 packs of Magic cards and do a sealed build, pit it off against a previous build. And if you recall last week, we built an Amonkhet out of 6 Amonkhet packs that was blue, white, and black. That was super heavy on the zombies with Lord of the Accursed right out front. Got really heavy on the zombies. Had some really good mana fixing, and I'm glad to have had that, because I was not able to stay just in 2 colors. I also went after the only 2 creatures with Embalm that I had in my mix. Rounded it off with a couple of other little nice filler here. Had some really good flyers in blue, so I went that way as well. And then some really, really good removal. So that was the deck we built last week. And then, of course, the Edifice of Authority. And it went up against this that we built, I think, 3 weeks ago, this red-white Amonkhet build that has just been absolutely spectacular. The pulls that this build got are crazy. 2 Fan Bearers, Seraph of the Suns, Glorybringer, Harsh Mentor, Gideon of the Trials, Glorybound Initiate. I mean, this is just insane for a sealed set. Plus some really good flyers up here in the corner. Crazy amounts of removal. And just really solid filler all the way around. There's just nothing in this deck that is junk. This deck is running on its 3rd week now. And I'm getting sick of looking at it. You guys getting sick of looking at it? Well, have I got good news for you. We're done looking at it. Believe it or not, Mr. Zombie Build here actually won this 2-1, 2 matches to 1. And in game 1, I only got 1 card that I need to talk about. And that would be Rags to Riches. This just completely won that game all by itself. He waited until the red-white build had got a few things on the table and got some stuff going, and then he pulled out Rags and just basically decimated the red-white's side of the board, and then was able to get a few of his own things going on, and then later in the game pulled off Riches, was able to take control of the Seraph of the Suns and just come in for the win. The other 2 games just went really back and forth. It was just a lot of combat and a lot of control and a lot of back and forth. But the blue, white, and black zombie build came out on top of those games 1 match to 1. So 2-1 overall in favor of this new build. So we will be scrapping the red-white build. And today we're going to do another hour of Devastation build. So we'll open 4-hour Devastation packs and 2 Amonkhet packs. We'll go through them and build a deck. Alright, so we've got our 6 packs. In the spirit of sealed magic, we're going to open the first pack as though I was doing a draft, and we'll make a draft pick out of that and evaluate this pack a little bit and talk about it as we go. So we'll start with Open Fire. This is a decent piece of removal at instant speed. It's basically Lightning Bolt for 3 mana though, so that kind of sucks in the big picture, but in this limited format, that's fair. Tragic Lesson, probably not first pickable at this point, but decent card draw a little later on. Sandblast. This is actually really pretty good removal as well. This is 5 damage to an attacking or blocking creature is very, very solid. I would actually probably put this in front of the Open Fire at this point. Frilled Sandwalla, 1 mana, nice little 1-drop. Pick him up later on. Torment of Venom. This is really solid too. Holy cow. Okay, this pack is actually turning into a pretty strong pack as far as removal goes. 3 -1/-1 counters is nothing to slouch about. Plus, your controller's losing 3 life unless they sack out another creature or permanent, or discard a card, I mean. This is actually really good, but it isn't double black. I think at this point I still like the Sandblast better, but Torment of Venom is very strong. Scrounger of Souls, this would be a nice pickup a little bit later on, mid-pack. At 5 mana, it's going to wheel around. Without Weakness, this is not really that playable in my opinion. Defiant Khenra, this is a nice little 2/2 for 2. Pick it up later on. Wall of Forgotten Pharaoh, 0/4 for 2 with Defender. This is a nice little board muddler if you're in a little bit more of a grindy state with your draft. Again, pick it up later on. Cunning Survivor, 1/3 for 2 mana. And when you cycle or discard a card, it gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. This is fair if you get into that cycling kind of a build. This is a nice little, could potentially be a lot of unblockable damage. Again, pick it up later on, wouldn't first pick it. Crook of Condemnation, this is very sideboardy only. If this, yeah, this would be not a first pick, third pick. This would be probably towards the last pick. Merciless Eternal, 2/2 for 3, and it has a flick 2. This is really a strong mid. Actually, more towards an early pick. I wouldn't first pick it, but definitely second or third pick potential here. This is really pretty solid for what you're actually paying for, what you get out of it. This is very efficient. Sand Strangler, 3/3 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a desert or there's one in your graveyard, you can have it deal 3 damage to a creature. This is very good too. Probably not first pick it. Well, I don't know. You're getting a 3/3 body plus some removal all in one shot. You just got to remember to draft a desert with it or two. Ooh, Pride Sovereign. Wow, I don't know if you get into this first pick or not. You really got to go tribal at this point, right? Actually, no, you don't. This is a bomb. 2/2 for 3. Cats you get, other cats you control get +1/+1. Plus you can exert this guy and create cats with lifelink. No, this is the pick one. And we're just going to build around this. This is an incredible good bomb. If this wasn't here, I probably would have, I'd say pick 2 would be Sand Strangler and then probably Sandblast. So probably be my 3 top picks out of this pack. All right, let's open up the other 5 packs. And we'll go through these ones a lot quicker, just kind of get to the back, see what we got for rares, do a quick skim over the works here. That's some nice mana fixing there. The deserts, Graven Abomination. Off to the back we go. We have a Doomfall. This is pretty solid. Fervent Paincaster. This is so-so. He's really delicate at 3/1. Overcome. This is just a weakened up overrun in my opinion. Endless Sands. Boy. Sack Endless Sands, return each creature. This could be nice post-board sweep, probably, if you're planning to do some kind of board sweep. I don't think it's as going to be like a limited playable card, but we'll see. If we get into like a Hour of Devastation in this mix, then that other card could definitely be playable, right? There's a nice flyer. Off to the back a little bit here. And we have a Supreme Will. I like this. I do like playing with this card a lot. Torment of Scarabs, nice little curse. Burning-Fist Minotaur, so-so. The God-Pharaoh's Gift. All right. Definitely probably try and play with this, right? Moving along, off to the back, I see tokens. Survivor's Encampment, and we've got a Steward of Solidarity. Riddle Form. This is kind of a neat build around. Obelisk Spider I do like. Chaos Maw, when it enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage. Okay, so now we've got something we could play around with that other desert, right? You could exile a bunch of your guys, play the Chaos Maw, and then put your guys back in. I see something cool there. I see 2 cards that will play very, very well together. Okay, now we're getting into our 2 Amonkhet packs. Some stuff I'm a little bit more familiar with at this point. I have always liked playing with Ruthless Sniper. Stir the Sands is nice. Failure to Comply. Oh, I see a foily there too. Return target spell to its owner's hand. And choose a card name until your next turn. Okay, Failure's cool. And a foily Cartouche of Ambition. And for the last pack. Whoop. Dropped it. Come on, open up. Oh, that one was stubborn. Off to the back here. Vizier of Remedies. Zenith Seeker. Ahn-Crop Crasher. This is very solid. This saw some play in the Pro Tour tournament last weekend. Samut, the voice of Dissent. He does everything but the dishes. Actually, if you're really nice to him, he'd probably do the dishes for you too. This guy's just word ability soup here. Very cool though. All right, so that's our card mix. I'm going to go sort these things out, and then we'll comb through it after I've sorted it out and see what we think about for a build. Okay, so I've had time to sort this mess out and organize it by color, and just kind of, what I like to do is kind of rank the colors from weakest to strongest a little bit so I can get an idea of what I might build in. And actually, we'll start with the lands real quick because I usually do that. Because what I'm looking for with the lands is just, can I get some mana fixing, or is anything else cool here? So when we opened up Endless Sands, when we were opening packs, my first impression of this was this is probably not going to be playable in a limited build. but there's another card in this mix we'll talk about later, which might lead me to play with Endless Sands. Other than that, there is a Survivor's Encampment in here. This could potentially be some nice mana fixing if we want to get into a third or fourth color to splash for a card, and then a couple of the green deserts. All right, let's get into the colors here then. Starting with what I think is the weakest color overall in this particular card pool, blue. Blue has only one, what I would call a bomb in here, and then a couple of Essence Scatters and a Supreme Will, which these are all fine cards, but they're not like I would consider to be straight up removal. And if I'm looking to do any work in blue, I'm usually trying to stall the board and get a little bit more grindy. And in blue, I just don't see the game finishing card that I would be looking for to do that. The rest of blue is basically filler, and there's hardly any creatures in blue either. So I'm going to probably pass on blue for this build, unless I want to maybe splash something. Next, I got black, which I rank just a little bit stronger than blue, only because it has two very, very solid pieces of removal, although one of them is in double black, making it a little bit harder to get into. Then it also has Doomfall, which is removal as well, but it's not as selective as I like. And I've always had good luck with Ruthless Sniper. I've always considered him to be good pseudo removal. And then Holy Cartouche of Ambitions. Are you kidding me? I mean, I could give a lot of stuff lifelink if I wanted to, and potentially knock a few small things out. Other than that, I have the one flyer here. I do love Merciless Eternal and Khenra Eternal. These are great aggressive creatures, but not sure that... Oh, and Stir the Sands is great too. You can go a little bit wide. Other than that, most of this is just filler again. I think overall it is a little bit stronger than blue, though. A little more aggressive. So then next up the ladder, we've got white, which we already saw this Sandblast, which is a great card, but it is the only piece of removal in white. But it is backed up by some really good flyers here, which is why I ranked it just a smudge higher than black, although I still think overall fairly weak. And then a Vizier of Remedies and just some other filler. I also didn't get very many white cards, which means I will probably, if I play with white, which I might be inclined to do, it will just be for a splash and probably just for the Sandblast and maybe a flyer. And the reason I would even consider that is because we did pull Pride of the Sovereign, so green would be my next strongest color, and Pride of Sovereign is probably a definite build around, and splashing for white, then we could get that Sandblast in there into the deck as well, and maybe a flyer or two. Ambuscade, this is just green, straight up green removal at instant speed. This is a fantastic card. Bitterblade Warrior I really like, nice aggressive. The Stalwart is nice. And then a lot of good filler here. There's some solid stuff. There's a cat here that we can put with the Pride Sovereign. Some mana fixing, some digging. Overcome, I think we could play well with the Sovereign as well. I'm seeing a lot of synergy in the green cards. If you can get enough cat tokens out and play this Overcome, that could be a game ender. So I think we'll probably be playing with green for sure. And then red. Here's what I wanted to talk about with red. With the Endless Sands, I mean. You can exile a couple of your creatures a turn or two before you know you're going to play the Chaos Maw. And then when after the Chaos Maw resolves, then you can put your guys back on the table. So I see a little synergy here. Maybe we'll try and build that. Chaos Maw, this is a bomb, no doubt about it. Definitely going to include it in the deck probably. Which means we're looking at red, green, white probably. There's some good cycling beaters in here as well. Sand Strangler, again, this is going to be a great card. You're going to 2-for-1 your opponent if things go right. Open Fire is nice. So I see a lot of nice stuff in red, and even the filler is very, very solid in red, I think. That being said, we go to our gold cards, and right on top we have Samut, Voice of Dissent, which will play very, very well with the white or with the red and green cards. So I'll definitely be playing with that probably. Other than that, we have Obelisk Spider, which we probably won't get into, and Failure to Comply, which we probably won't get into either. All right, God-Pharaoh's Gift. At 7 mana, it's way up there, but the payoff could potentially be game ending, and so I think it's worth considering for inclusion. Also, we have in artifacts some more spectacular mana fixing, so I think I'm going to be able to get really diverse with this deck and probably do 3 colors very, very comfortably. Other than that, the artifacts I have here aren't that playable. I'm not going to probably play these walls because I'm not playing a grindy kind of a deck like that. The Hone Kapesh I believe to be just filler for the sets. And these are just in my opinion, sideboardy kinds of things. Maybe play the Graven Abomination because he does deal with people's graveyards and he is a body, but the Crook of Condemnation is certainly just sideboard. So that's the card mix in a nutshell. Okay, so here's the build that I came up with for this card pool. It came out red-green with a little bit of white, just for that really good piece of removal and a couple of decent flyers and the ability to exert the Pride Sovereign. So I knew I wanted a little bit of white. I'm going to be playing with 25 cards main deck plus 15 lands. And the only reason I'm comfortable playing 15 lands in this mix is because the mana curve overall is extremely low. Normally I might play 16 to 17 lands, but I really like the way this one curved out. So what I'm going for here is just a really, hopefully, an aggressive rush strategy. The bottom down here on this end of the deck, it's just all creatures. It's just creatures, 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 lots of really quick, efficient creatures. And I'm hoping to just rush out early, back it up with a couple of flyers. The Winged Shepherd does cycle for 1 white, so I'm not too worried about getting it stuck in my hand if I draw it early. I can hopefully cycle out of it. I also have the 2 Traveler's Amulets, which will help me smooth out the color curve. So again, that's why I'm okay just playing 15 lands. Okay, then at the top end, if I can't get the rush to quite polish off early like I want, I'm hoping to be able to stall out with Pride Sovereign a little bit. I do have 4 really decent pieces of removal here with Sandblast, Ambuscade, and Open Fire. And the Sand Strangler I'm excited about. That's going to be a 2-for-1 most times I play it. I'll be able to take out a creature when it hits the table and then maybe take another one out in combat. So, alright, so then if I can't get the early rush to completely finish the opponent off like I want, then I'm hoping to be able to stall out. Or if it gets a little bit stally, then I'm hoping to be able to finish with Granitic Titan, maybe an Overcome, Samut, Chaos Maw, and then maybe God-Pharaoh's Gift. If it gets into that, I think that will just be a game finisher for me. I also believe Overcome could potentially be. Okay, I am going to run the Endless Sands. I like what this card does in more ways than one. Initially, I was just going to pair it with the Chaos Maw. You know, bank a few creatures, then Chaos Maw the board, and then bring my dudes back. But if you get this Endless Sands out early enough, and your early rush guys kind of get picked off here and there, you can save a few of these underneath the Endless Sands, right? Instead of putting them in your graveyard. And then you can repopulate your side of the battlefield again later on when you start to stall a little bit. All of a sudden you can rush out your guys again. So I'm excited about this card, actually, the potential of this card. So this is the build I came up with for this mix, and we'll see if it can take on that zombie build from last week. Until next time. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, comments are welcome at the bottom and feedback. And if you like this video and want to see more of this, thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.